I'm Bonnie Kimke. Welcome to my studio and welcome to Quilting on the Thread. This is another video in my Getting to Know Your Frame series. We happen to be in front of my original Cutie frame. I'm going to be demonstrating something very useful but not often seen, not often demonstrated. What I'm going to do is load the frame for a small project. In loading the frame for a small project, I'm going to be building the sandwich as I go. And this can actually be done on a larger piece or on a smaller piece. One of the very convenient features of the Cutie frame and the Cutie Breeze frame is that you can do any size project, and you can do that very easily. And it's much more convenient to do a smaller project here on a 4-foot frame than it is across the way on my 10-foot frame. So now I have you positioned over my machine so you can see what I'm going to do. I also happen to have my channel locks set. I don't generally lock my channel locks for loading my quilt, but I am in this demonstration just so you're not confused by the movement of the machine, because as you're loading things you will knock your machine around. I don't want to confuse you. So in this first bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my backing fabric and I'm going to load my backing fabric onto the frame. Now, as I've already alluded to, this is going to be the same whether I'm loading a small project or I'm loading a large project. Because I'm going to lay 3 small projects on this, I'm treating the backing and the batting as a large project. I'm going to build my sandwich right here on the frame. After I have my backing laid up here on the front bar, I'm going to take the very front of the top of the backing and I'm going to slide it underneath my presser foot. And I'm going to slide it until it reaches the back bar and covers the back bar just a little bit. Now, because this is just a backing fabric and it's not large, you see that it's laying there quite smoothly. So I'm going to get one of my back rail clips and I'm going to press that down into the center of the frame, leaving what I hope is enough for the other 2 on either side. Now once I've got that done, I just want to make sure everything is nice and neat and even, and I'll take the other 2 clips. Now I want to point out something here. This is all still very loose. There's nothing really to grab. Why? Because there's no batting. I'm only clipping the backing so far. All right, now that I have my batting here, I just want to go over one thing. It's important to know your batting. If batting has a scrum, as this batting does, the scrum must go to the back. And there's a reason for that. I mean, the needles in creating this piece of batting, the needles punch through the front of the batting material into the back and collect the scrum. You know, they grab the scrum and they come out the scrum. If you have the scrum on top, you know, facing up, and your needle is going through, your needle is fighting harder to get through the scrum than it would if you position your batting properly with the scrum down. The scrum has these little bumps. People often call them pimples. And I know that this is my scrum side and it happens to be the back and should go to the bottom. So it should face my backing. So I will lay this out and start working this up. The other thing I want to, one thing I want to make sure of again is go through, underneath my presser foot. So I'm just going to start that up underneath my presser foot, and I'm just going to walk it up, trying not to disturb the backing much. But as I do, I can always pull that backing back down because as I, started out this, I'm building the sandwich right here on my frame. So I just need to keep pulling that backing back down. So once I get this up to where it's right at the bar, where there's enough of it to grab the bar, I want to make sure that I have enough to also come over the front bar. So I'm going to be over the back bar, and over the front bar. Now, before I tug that backing too much, at this point, I want to just go in and take the clip off the back. I usually start at the center. Now it becomes important that we can read the Cutie, because remember, this is the original Cutie frame, and I have the elastics that I'm using to secure my roll here in the back. So I want to make sure that I have that clip available to me, and that's what we do when we read the Cutie. That gives us the clip here up front. So I'm just going to go ahead and clip that one. And since I'm here, I'll go ahead and take my elastics and bring it forward, because what I'm trying to do at this point is make sure that I don't inadvertently run over the loose end of my elastics. Now that that's in place, I can securely pull the backing clean and straight, and do the same with my batting. So at this point, I take my larger clips, and again, I want to go ahead and see the words, the Cutie, Cutie, and I just want to walk that down. Take the other one, do the same. So now that's in place, and I just want to go ahead and ratchet that just a moment, just a tad, and then I want to bring my side clips into picture. Okay, now that I'm fully clipped in, I want to go ahead and test my quilt. So I need to make sure that everything is smooth. And if things are not smooth now, that's the time to fix it. Yep. So by looking underneath, I know that everything is clear. Now I'm going to go ahead and release my channel locks so that I can move my machine around freely. Because now what I want to do is I want to find out, because I'm going to lay multiple projects on here, I want to find out what space I have. So what I've done while the video was off was I've went and gathered my threads that I use to mark my space. Now you can mark these spaces by drawing, chalking or whatever on your quilt body, or you can do as I've done, and I have long lengths of thread. It's a bright red thread, and I put weights on the end of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my machine as far forward as I can, and I'm going to rest this one thread, the long thread, and I have two of the long threads and two shorter threads. The long are to go from side to side. So all I want to do here is just pull that to where, that's where my needle comes to. So that's pretty much my quilt zone. I don't want to come any more forward than that. I can pull forward a little more, but all I want is to know that I have a safe zone. So now I'll take the machine all the way back, and I'll do the same with the thread, with the other long thread. So now I'm going to do the same for the sides. So I'll come all the way to the side. I find out where that zone is. And that's where I feel comfortable there. And what I want to do with this one is just rest the weight over the back clip and bring it forward and let it drop. So come over here to the other side. And there's my edge. And I'll do the same thing. Now, if you take a look at this, you can see that I have a perfect demarcation of where my quilt zone is. Now, I have a little more space that I can get to here in front, but I just feel comfortable with that zone. And now that that is done, I can bring my little project pieces over. And I just happen to want to do the quilting on these 3 pieces. And you see, now I know that I can just simply put them in and they're right there, ready and handy. Now the next thing that I would do is I'm going to go ahead and even these out levelly, so that they're all level with one another. Because what I could then do is just come right over here and baste right across. So I have essentially built my sandwich right here on the frame. So I hope that's been helpful to you. I hope it helps you in your journey on your Cutie frame, whether you're new to the Cutie frame or looking for new ways to use your Cutie frame. And I hope to see you again here on Quilting on a Thread.